All right, welcome. We're going to call tonight's meeting to order. So if everyone can please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so item 1.03, approval revision of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as stated? Cindy, and second by Christy. Christy, all in favor? Okay, anybody opposed? Is that one we're supposed to? All right. So item 2.01. So for anybody from the public who is watching or who is here in person, we are going to be trying out a new feature that's been available through Board Docs. So we're going to be voting electronically, sort of like a game show. So I just want to make you aware that if you wanted to follow along and see instantly the results of the vote, you can go into Board Docs and see that in the agenda items. I'm also going to, once we lock in the votes, I'll announce that it passed or what the vote was so that everybody can be aware of it that way as well. It will allow for sort of instant minutes to be captured. So it's going to increase, hopefully, our efficiency for producing the minutes and make those available to the public as soon as possible. So I just want to make everybody aware of that change so you don't think we're forgetting to vote or something. So the second item that I just wanted to say was I just want to give kind of a shout out to all of our building administrators, our support staff, our janitorial teams, buildings and grounds, all the people who are kind of working behind the scenes over the summer to make the buildings and everything prepared for our students coming very soon. So thank you to everybody who's doing all that work over the summer months. And some of you are here right now. Thank you. All right. Item 2.02, Superintendent's Report.
Thank you very much. The backup information is in Board Docs for you. 3 major items: capital project update. The high school construction project continues in earnest as contractors hope to complete as much work as possible before the return of students in September. Unfortunately, the inclement and rainy and windy weather during the summer months resulted in damage to many of the art classrooms that were in the midst of having their roofing system replaced. Just the roofing system is fine. It's just obviously as they continued the work, moving from north to south, where they didn't finish it in terms of flashing and things like that, that's where the water came in, but not the new roofing system. Recent meetings, though, with the OACM team have focused on the reinstallation of the electrical, power, and water service lines connecting House 1 to House 2. That will be very important as we approach Labor Day. As you are aware, the main offices have been temporarily relocated to the House 2 corridor in order to accommodate the retrofit of the counseling office suite in House 1. So if anybody's watching, the offices are in House 2. In interscholastic sports news, I'm pleased to report that our boys and girls interscholastic athletic teams garnered NISFA School of Distinction status for the 23-24 school year. Congratulations to all of these Hornet student athletes on this prestigious accomplishment. In addition, our athletic director, Dr. Scott Sugar, has been dealing with some of the fallout from the loss of the freshman teams as other schools in Central New York have abandoned this venue as they've adjusted their own budgets and interest levels. A recent district website article prepared by our Capital Region BOCES communication team outlines the challenges in finding opportunities for competition for these freshman teams, as well as some of the other avenues that Dr. Sugar has been exploring for the future with his athletic director colleagues. And then last but not least, administrative convocation. I'd like to publicly thank the members of the governance team who were able to be with us for meeting with the administrative team during convocation to discuss our progress on the district and building goals and action plans for the upcoming year. At the summer convocation, the administrators received their copy of this year's book study, Little Bets, so I wanted to take a moment to provide you with your complimentary copies of that book that was featured as part of this past spring National Town Hall meeting, Forging Futures, that was held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The National Summit provided attendees with a behind-the-scenes look at what the collaborative network of schools and other agencies have accomplished in the Pittsburgh area as they've sought to reimagine their educational system and to make it more relevant for students and teachers alike. And I think the message of Little Bets, which you all have a copy at your station, really focuses on that some of the grandest discoveries and improvements, even in business and industry, have started with small little accomplishments. And I know last year, former President Mims, we focused on failing forward, trying new things out, and I know that certainly was well received by the faculty and staff alike. So I think you'll enjoy the book Little Bets. It's not new. I know our district clerk procured the copies. It has a 2011 copyright, but I think they've been flying off the shelves in terms of a lot of districts who were attending Pittsburgh have been using them as a focal point for the year going forward. So it's a quick read. Please enjoy Little Bets. That ends my report.
Does anybody have any discussions or questions for Dr. Tice from his report? No? Okay, thank you very much. All right, item 2.03, committee and representative updates. So we're gonna try something a little bit different on this to just sort of keep our agenda as concise and applicable as possible. So we're gonna do the regular committees, standing committees reporting on a quarterly basis moving forward, unless there's something that any of the chairs would like to make sure we highlight, and then you can let us know in advance. But we will try to make sure that the legislative liaison, BOCES, and the student board member, who unfortunately is not here today, have an opportunity to speak at every meeting. So, Daryl, as the legislative liaison, is there anything you'd like to update us on?
The only thing I would report is that NISBA will provide, I think each of you will receive your copy of the resolutions on or about September 4th, and we'll have until the 20th of September to endorse, amend, or just negate. We don't want them. So we'll talk about those as soon as they arrive. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Marissa, BOCES?
Sure. So the BOCES board had a discussion about how we can get more information out to our districts about BOCES and get more interest and understanding of the different programs that we have. So each board member is going to be focusing on bringing students to districts for presentations so that districts can see what their students are doing as a part of BOCES and learn about the programs that way. Let's see. So this year I will be on the team review committee. So we're going to be developing a new self-assessment tool for our board. So I'll be on that committee and on the CTE advisory committee again. Thank you.
Marissa, do we have within FM a particular point person or liaison that typically works with all of our students who are attending BOCES?
I would imagine it's the guidance counselors who are doing that. I don't think it's one person. I think it just depends on the student's guidance counselor.
Depends. Okay. I just wondered if we...
Daryl, you said the timeline was around September 4th and making decisions by September 20th. So our meeting in September is September 16th. So I think we should all plan to have reviewed the resolutions, and we'll carve out time on the agenda to discuss. Okay.
All right, and since Isam's not here, we'll skip over his report. All right, public comment, item 3.01. I believe we have one individual for public comment, Mr. Chaim Gaffey.
is President Fitzgerald.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hope you are having a nice summer. So I've been to a bunch of board meetings over the last couple of years, and I've heard people complain. I've heard people talk about swimming pools, but no one has ever come here and said thank you. So I'm here to say thank you. I have now, my last kid just graduated in June, and 24 years between all 4 of my kids in the school district. And it's been a real pleasure. The teachers have been wonderful, but there are 2 people who really do stand out, Dana Pierce and Amy Evans, who is here. My kids are all different. 2 of them, was not a major lift for them, and God willing, I'm sending my youngest off to Israel in 3 weeks for a year. And our oldest one, school was not a major lift either, but our 2 middle ones, school is hard, life is hard. And the love and support from Amy and Dana, unbelievable. Jonah left for Israel 2nd semester of his sophomore year, and he was friends with one of the young men from his class who died by suicide. I didn't have to ask Dana to reach out to him in Israel. She reached out to him by email, checked in with him every now and then. She continues to check in on my oldest one, who's 28 years old. Has checked in with me over the summer about Jonah, who's away. And if there was a Mount Rushmore for FM, Dana and Amy would be on it. I'm not telling you in which order they would go on, but both of their heads would be up on that mountain. They have fought for my kids. They have advocated for my kids. And sorry. It does take a village to raise kids. Sorry. And my 2 middle ones have achieved what they have because of Amy and Dana. And I just wanted to shout out to them and make sure everybody who's watching in cyberspace hears it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to note that. I don't think we do that often enough. And Dana, I have not had the pleasure to meet you in person yet, but I have heard fantastic things about you from all over. And Amy, we have witnessed you have been a great asset to this district. And so thank you. And thank you for taking the time to give them their kudos. Okay, item 3.02, we are going to have our public hearing regarding the district safety plan. So we need a motion to open the public hearing, Rebecca, and a second from Daryl. And do we have anybody who's registered to speak? Is there anybody who happened to show up that would like to speak about the district safety plan?
The
Okay.
district, as you know, safety plan is more the generic one that's published on the website. So that's really gives an opportunity to have conversations. The building plans are a little bit more secretive, as one might expect, and those will be approved by the board in executive session. So thank you for your indulgence.
Okay, great. So we're going to close the public hearing. Do we need a motion to close that? Daryl, and second by Chrissy. Okay. Moving on to item 4.01, approval of minutes. So be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District hereby approves the minutes of the special meeting held on July 22nd, 2024 as presented. May I have a motion, please? Cindy and Chrissy second. All right, now this is our chance to vote. So, okay. Everybody got the pop-up screen? Okay.
No.
There you go. All right, so let's. It's a feature. It's a feature. Okay. Oh, okay, I see where it is now. All right, so the resolution passed. I guess I have to add and count them up. 1, 2, 3, 5 yays, and we had 2 abstentions. Okay, any conversation? Sorry, we forgot that part. All right, item 4.02, confirmation of tax rolls. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District approve the resolution of tax rolls as presented. May I have a motion? Rebecca and Marissa? Okay. Now, any discussion? Okay, now we can vote. I don't see anything. Does anyone see the results? Did everyone vote? Yep. It's way down at the bottom. Do I have to click on it again? Oh, I guess you click on it again. Okay. The motion carries unanimously. Okay, we're going to work out the kinks here, I think, hopefully. Item 4.03. All right. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District approve the school tax levy in the amount of $72,547,830 and the library tax levy in the amount of $3,513,846, which makes the total tax warrant $76,061,676 before STAR reimbursement for the 2024-25 fiscal year. May I have a motion, Daryl and Ann? Any discussion? Okay. Let's vote. I am not controlling it, believe it or not. I don't see anything. Oh. Okay. I'm not sure if this is. It either will or it won't, Daryl.
The other way to do it would just be to take the vote and then still click on it.
Yeah,
Keep moving.
yeah, we could do that. We could take the vote and click.
That's
and
what I
click.
think we should do.
Yeah, all right, so we'll do that too, to keep things moving. Okay, so that motion carries unanimously. All right. Item 4.04. Be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District that policy 0102 is rescinded and remanded to Policy Committee in first reading, along with the corresponding references to policy 0102 within policies 0100, 0100.1, and 0100.2. May I have a motion? Cindy and Rebecca. All right, so all in favor? Okay, anybody opposed or abstaining? So let's see it. Oh, God.
Progress.
Is it? Is it up there yet?
Yeah.
Not for me. Oh, oh, you did it. Oh, I was like, oh, okay. So you just did it for us. That might be a better way. Okay. So we didn't push the button.
All right, but that's how we're gonna do it. And you can keep moving. You can keep
Okay,
moving
yeah,
without having to report.
we're moving. 4.05, appointments. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District hereby amends the annual Title IX appointments as presented. May I have a motion? Rebecca, and a second by Daryl. All in favor? Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay, so we're moving along. It's going to be locked in, right? We don't have to do anything.
Right.
Oh, we are flexible. Okay. Item 4.06. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District hereby moves the 4000 series policies into second reading. May I have a motion? Okay, Chrissy and Rebecca. Any discussion? You guys all read all those 4,000s detailed. Yeah, it is a lot. Oh, go ahead, Darryl.
The part about controversial conversations, that's in red. That's an addition by our people, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So all in favor of approving these? All right. Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay. Item 4.05, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District hereby amends the, no, that's what we just did. No, sorry. 4.07, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District hereby waives second reading and approves policy 4321.12 as presented. Marissa and Rebecca, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay. Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay. Item 4.08, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius School District hereby approve the Special Patrol Officer and School Information Resource Officer agreements as presented. Marissa and Daryl, any conversation, discussion? All
A
right.
big thank you to our district clerk, working with the town of Manlius in terms of, it always seems like catch-up, but I think we're trying to get out ahead of it, and so I appreciate all the efforts. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. All in favor? Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay. Item 4.09, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius School District hereby approve the 2023-24 District Safety Plan as presented. May I have a motion? Rebecca, and a second. Ann, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Any abstentions? Okay. 4.10, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District declare the replacement of the water infrastructure system as an emergency project. May I have a motion, Daryl, and a second? Chrissy, any conversation? Okay.
Thank you to Mr. Brad Corvin and working with State Ed and certainly legal counsel to be able to move this forward. The Facilities Committee had a good discussion on this in terms of, again, this is all part of getting House 1 reconnected to House 2, so thank you.
Thank you. All in favor? Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay. Item 4.11, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District approves the proposed action does not exceed thresholds established under 6 NYCRR Part 617 of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and the proposed action is a Type 2 action in accordance with the SECRA regulations with no significant environmental impact. May I have a motion, please? Cindy and Rebecca, any conversation? Okay, all in favor? Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay. And item 4.12. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Fayetteville-Manlius Central School District hereby approves the authorization as presented. May I have a motion? Daryl and Marissa, any conversation?
Just one quick question. Dr. Tice or Lisa, maybe, are we on a par now with neighboring districts, do we know, as far as substitute salary?
That was our intent,
Okay.
was we had done this, as you know, with Mr. Gordon periodically to make sure our rates were competitive. Good question.
Great. Thank you. All right, all in favor? Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay. We are moving to item 5.01, board development. So NISBA allows us to register one voting delegate to represent the board at the annual business meeting. And Daryl has graciously volunteered to both be our legislative liaison and to participate if we should choose to have her. And so we just want to have a conversation. If anybody else is interested in doing that, we can certainly open it up, but if not, we do need a motion. Okay, Marissa, thank you. And Chrissy, any conversation? That's a long meeting, Daryl. Appreciate that. All right, all in favor? Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay, thank you very much, Daryl. Item 5.02, potential considerations for future meetings. So as we talked about the last meeting, we sort of broke these items that had kind of accumulated in this agenda item into a chart so that we could identify who's going to be responsible for taking it to the next step and maybe a timeline and any notes. So we're going to try to keep this up to date. And you can see that some of the items we're going to send to committee work to get progress on them. And others, I think we're going to have a report out in future board meetings as appropriate. So if there's, go ahead.
Was there a meeting last month for the pool aquatics? Did they actually have that meeting? The town of Manlius, did they have one on the 15th or something? I wasn't able to go. I think there was one scheduled for last month.
I believe there was something, but they're just working on the survey.
On the surveys?
And I think they got their initial funding to do a preliminary, report on what's feasible, but,
So they don't have any more meetings planned right
No.
now?
not that I'm aware of.
I have not.
Okay,
I was
thanks.
unable to attend as well.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any discussion or questions about any of the items that are on here or things they want to add to them?
Can we have at some point, I'm not sure where this would go, but a discussion about classroom sizes?
Yeah, I think that was
Is it
sort of
enrollment?
related to enrollment
Is it
study.
related to enrollment? Okay, because we don't, I don't know if we really get into it during that report, it's usually over just the numbers, but if we could have a
Yeah.
report, like where we are and how we're gonna handle it if we do have, class sizes started to trickle up, what the plans are for that. Thank you.
I think that's also on our next meeting agenda too, is to talk about where we are in enrollment.
And they just recently had their midsummer meeting, adjusting class sizes and shifting personnel between buildings to accommodate. So, good point.
So are you looking for a little more detail on enrollment, on class sizes perhaps than is normally in the enrollment report that we hear?
Well, I'm interested in knowing, like, what is the plan as we continue to grow, obviously, and we get more students? So they had a meeting where they were able to, obviously, hopefully address it this year, but what are we doing looking forward? Because we're gonna run out of rooms and we wanna keep our classroom sizes down. So, right now we have we'll try to keep it at a certain number, but what do we really wanna commit to as a district as far as classroom sizes? I think that's a discussion worth having.
So is that something next month, in next month's meeting when it's on the
We
agenda?
can tie it in together. I mean, as we've pointed out before too, we can aspire to the lowest class sizes as possible, but eventually the calculus, as you know, will run out of classrooms. So that's where those lines intersect. Yeah, we can add that.
Okay. And go ahead, Sally.
And to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, Marissa, often when we get the enrollment studies, it gives us a ratio of teachers to students, but that's not always an accurate presentation of how many students each teacher has. It's how many adults are in the building and how many students are in the building, and that doesn't have a relationship to the number of students that are in a class. So if a child goes for a reading specialist or goes and does other things, may encounter all of those adults, but a particular teacher may have a certain number of students that's not reflected in the numbers that we often see.
That's a good point. Can we try to get that broken out?
That may take a little more time, but we can work towards that, and it works both ways, as you're all aware. Sometimes we have sizes bulging at the seams, but then we have electives featuring
Right.
lower numbers, so it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah. But I think this is good, if we know that a topic is going to be, like when we look at our future meetings and the topics that are going to be on there, if there are questions or ways of presenting the information that the board would like to have, if we can try to raise those in advance, so that way they can try to prepare that information so that it's useful for us to take a look at.
Could we include information about our teaching assistants as well? Not to put
Yeah,
anything more on
we
your
can do
plate.
that as well. Ms. Wade just sent out the numbers to the different buildings, and then this is even adjusted based on enrollment, so we have that at our fingertips. Anything else before I
I was
cut
going
you
to
off?
say, are there any other,
Wow.
any other?
I mean, if you want a list, I mean, like to be home by 8 o'clock.
Well, that is bold. Okay, so that's our plan with these parking lot items, so that we can try to keep tabs, both for accountability as well as, so we can be communicating where we are on some of those items. But of course, if at any point anybody wants to have a specific discussion about them or add them to a future actual and agenda item, let's talk about that, and we can do that. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, the timeline is blank for everything except two, so if we want to keep them moving, we should just talk about maybe for every meeting, just if there's some that we want to elevate to try to get into this next school year.
Yep.
I'm interested in cell phone use, but I know there's also a lot of legislative and a lot of action.
And one,
Cell phone use.
we were invited by the FMTA. NYSET is putting on a statewide workshop on Friday, and I know Sarah received it and sent it out to the rest of the board, so we're very eager to learn more. No, Friday, September 20th. Yeah.
Maybe this item could be a follow-up meeting.
Follow up after that.
Yeah,
would make
and this
sense.
was to also have the building level policies presented, or,
Yeah.
some
And at
sort
the
of.
principals meeting today, I know it's not, I do not believe on here, we talked about recognition and what the board is doing, as we had talked as officers. And so the principals will be highlighting different groups,
Okay.
students, faculty, staff throughout the year, at the beginning, not a building report, but just, so more to follow on that.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
Yeah, no, so just so everybody, we had talked about wanting to kind of build recognitions into every meeting and try to pull some of those good news items across the point of the year, as opposed to just at the last meeting where it sort of seems after the fact. So trying to think through how we can do that in a more effective way. Okay, great. And yeah, I know Chrissy and Marissa, you're attending the cell phone one, so if nothing, like, it would be great if you guys could report on what you learned and what's relevant for the board after you get back from that.
Or do we still expect the governor to weigh in on this before, anytime soon? Or is it-
I don't know if it'll be before or after that summit, but I think that's one of the reasons that NICET organized this, is they have a voice.
Yep. Okay. Is there anything else related to those items? Okay. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please? Daryl and Chrissy? And any discussion? Okay. All in favor? Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay, great. Item 7.01, dates to remember. So we have coming up August 26th, there's the new educator orientation at Eagle Hill, and I think we have a tentative.
Followed by the building tour, yep.
Yep, and we have a contingency meeting that day too. And then August 28th, if you're able to mark your calendar, opening day ceremony at the high school, 8 a.m.
Correction, we are trying to give the high school as much time to get glued back together, so we are transferring the flag to here.
Oh, okay. Ooh, parking will be even more fun.
Thanks to the principals meeting today, we reached out and a local neighbor is willing to help us provide parking spots, and we'll be able to run a shuttle.
Oh.
So more information to follow. I don't want to give all the secrets away just yet, but yes, parking is a concern here.
Well, and they'll be doing balloon animals also. Okay, so mark your calendars for that if you're able. And then, believe it or not, September 3rd is the first day of classes already.
And not to forget, we have a contingency next
Yeah,
Monday as
future
well in the morning.
Yep. Future meeting calendar, so August 19th, this is, yeah, August, or, yeah. So I can be there at 8. 8 a.m. No. It's okay. Yeah. The 19th. Do you want me to follow up, Sarah, with Dan and Jason? Okay. 7:30. Yeah, I guess we should check on that one too. The 26th, so that would be that's at Eagle Hill at 8 a.m.
It precedes the new educator orientation, and we certainly appreciate the board's indulgence in these special meetings because it allows us for any last-minute personnel appointments. So they're very short meetings, as you know.
But from that meeting, we will be going into the building tours.
That will be,
So just for planning purposes, that is until noon?
noonish roughly, but there have been some board members who've attended the meeting and then had to punt on the tour.
Can't go.
Yep.
So, who can attend the special meeting, they think, at 7:45 on the 26th? I should be able to. Okay, so you want me, I'll check with Dan and Jason on that one too. And yep,
Yeah, it's a welcome. We greet the new educators and then go on the tour.
Craig, do you need anything from us to know how many people are going on the tour, or any things that we want to look at, or
Yeah.
what?
get an RSVP.
Okay.
Usually it's a small bus that we go.
Okay, or we could, yeah. Yeah,
Usually most attend. Last year, you'll recall, we tried to do it during the year, thinking we were helping by giving more time, but it caused some additional problems we didn't anticipate. So even though it's a crazy time of the year, I think the administration would like us to come out on that date. And it's a good filler between the orientation, which is in the morning, and then they meet with the new hires later. So we kind of fill that gap
okay,
in the late morning.
great. All right, so I guess Sarah will be giving us an RSVP. And please reply to that RSVP. Okay, so now we're moving on to item number 9, which is our proposed executive session. So we have a couple items on executive session. One is matters that will imperil the public safety if disclosed, the building safety reports. And then we have one regarding the information related to current or future investigation. And then we also have a discussion regarding the employment history of particular person or persons. So may I have a motion to go into executive session? Oh. It's going to be postponed. Yep, we're not going to do that one. Okay, so a motion to go into executive session. Daryl, did you? Thank you. And Ann, second. All in favor? Okay, anybody opposed or abstaining? All right, so we are going to adjourn the public portion of the meeting. Thank you so much for everybody who took the time to come out. Appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your summer. Do I need to vote to do that? No, we can just.